Hi everyone, nice to see all of you. I'm Aaliyah.
I'm Susan.
And welcome to Storying the Royal Canal between Maynooth and Mullingar. It is a 4-part video series, and during the series we will be sharing the told and
Untold stories
between these spaces and along them with you. So please make sure to join us for these 4 videos and to partake with us. And how can they partake, Susan?
Well, if you look in the description box below, you will see a link, and by clicking on this link, you can share all of the stories that you discover along your section of the Royal Canal.
So exciting. Let's do it. This week, episode 1 is featuring place names, and we'll be exploring the hidden stories behind the place names along the canal between Maynooth and Mullingar and seeing what they can teach us about this space.
So we're starting today's adventure in Maynooth at the Royal Canal, and one of the best places to look for stories is in the place names. So if we look at this sign behind us here, we see Maynooth, and the Irish for Maynooth is Maynooth.
Wonderful, Maynooth. Did I say that correctly, Susan?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So when we looked it up on logaim.ie, we found that Ma means plains, but we're not quite sure what Nuad means. So we wonder, any of you who live in Maynooth, I wonder if you could find out what Nuad means and let us know.
Yeah, take a look around and see if you can find something on the internet or something that someone in your family knows, and get back to us.
So I have a feeling that we're going to find some really interesting place names of the towns and townlands that we visit through when we're going through the Royal Canal. However, we'll also find some really interesting names of bridges that cross the Royal Canal. I can see a bridge just up ahead. Why don't we go down and have a look and see what it's called? So as you can see, we finally made it to Jackson Bridge. Now, this bridge was built in 1793.
That's a long time ago.
Over 223 years ago.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. So we don't know much about Jackson, who they were, why they have a bridge named after them, but maybe that's your job. Why don't you go find out and see who Jackson was?
That would be really helpful if you find something for us. We could put it into our collective memory bank together. We're sitting here thinking about how to keep track of all this stuff we're learning. So Susan, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, so one way that I like to keep track of all the different place names that I come across whilst I'm walking down the Royal Canal is with a journal. So a little diary that you can make at home using just 5 materials.
Oh, perfect. That sounds really handy, and I bet we could add some other findings along the way for our other videos too, and just keep with us whenever we're on the canal.
Absolutely. So Leah, do you want to learn how to make a nice little Royal Canal notebook?
Please teach me.
Great. So here's an example of a notebook that I had made earlier. Aaliyah, do you want to guess how I made it?
I do. I'm taking a close look at the front, what's on the side, at the back. It looks like you used a lot of recycled materials and found objects.
Leah was right. You'll need some recycled paper, some recycled cardboard, a pair of scissors, a hole puncher, and a piece of old string. The first step is to lay out your paper, your cardboard, and your hole puncher. Then make sure your paper is the same size as your cardboard. Now use your hole puncher to make 2 holes at the top of your paper and your piece of cardboard. Then find your string and thread it through your cardboard and paper to keep your journal together. If you'd like, you can even add a cloth cover to protect your Royal Canal journal.
So in addition to recording your stories in your notebook and all of your findings along the way when you're at the canal, another thing you can do is to record your experience with mapping. And one particularly cool way to do that is with 3D mapping, looking for objects and natural materials in the place where you are that you can use to track your journey. So right now we're going to go have a look around for materials to build a 3D map of our experience from the Maynooth sign all the way to the Jackson Bridge. So here we go with our 3D map.
So in this video, here you can see Aaliyah, who is putting together our 3D map using all of the different natural materials that we collected along the Royal Canal. So you can see that she's creating the walkway, the bridge, parts of the canal, water, all of the different elements that we can see. So it's really important to remember that when you're collecting natural materials, that you make sure not to collect the first object or the last object you see. It's also really important to, if you're taking a flower or something from a bush, that you take it from one hedge and then move on and take it from another, so that you're not taking all the plants from one bush and not giving it a chance to thrive. It's also important to remember that some plants might be irritable to our skin, which means that it might hurt us. So it's important that if we're choosing plants, that we don't pick the prickly ones like nettles. And we can ask an adult if we're not sure about this. So enjoy making your 3D map of your section of the canal.
Susan, we're along the beautiful canal and I'm feeling curious. In addition to the loveliness of it, what is it used for?
So when the canal was first built, it was used to transport people and freight, so things like coal and different objects that they needed to transport from Dublin to Mullingar and Mullingar to Dublin. However, the uses of the canal has changed in the last couple of years, and as you can see, there's a train track just right beside us here in the canal.
Oh wow.
So after the canal was built, a train was also built next to it, which is still used today.
Huh. And that sounds like a long journey, Susan. How long would it take to get from Dublin to Mullingar?
Absolutely. So some of the first boats that used to come down this canal used to take 12 hours to get from Dublin all the way to Mullingar. So a pretty long journey. And
Goodness.
Today it probably takes about an hour in the car, just over an hour to get to Mullingar, so a lot quicker.
Yeah, I've done that train journey a good few times, and taking the train between Dublin and Mullingar is just a bit over an hour. So,
Yeah.
wow.
But we also still see boats on the canal today, and many people still live in them. So
Very
exciting.
cool.
Now it's time to head over to Mullingar to see what hidden stories that we can uncover along the Royal Canal there. You ready? Let's go!
Hello, Mullingar! Hello, Mullingar! We made it!
We made it.
Super! So what's the place name story of Mullingar?
So Mullingar comes from the Irish Mullingar, and that means the incorrect mill. So basically it was called that because the mill turned in an anti-clockwise direction.
Huh.
It was the wrong turning, the wrong way.
Got it. And was it always called that?
I think it used to be called Mail Blaha back in the day, but I wonder, do you know why it was called that?
Now that you say it, it was called something else before, but it changed because of the legend of Colman of Mullingar. And this was a 7th century monk named Saint Colman of Lynn. And this saint performed a miracle by grinding corn on the left-hand side.
Really?
And that changed the name.
Fascinating stuff.
I guess it's a milling thing, who knows? We'll now take a stroll along the Mullingar area of the Royal Canal, and as we go, shall we learn about some more background information of the canal's history? So I know we were saying in Maynooth that it was used for freight, bringing goods from Dublin to Longford after its construction in 1789 all the way to 1817. And it took the barges and boats all the way to the River Shannon, which was really handy at the time. And it was out of commission for a long time after that. No one was using it. It was kind of in disrepair for a while. But finally in 2010 it reopened, so people like you and me could have lovely strolls and go on cycles and all the nice things that we can do now here. Aren't we lucky?
So lucky. So where are we now, Aaliyah?
This is Piper's Bohereen.
Oh, cool. As in Bohereen, like a small road?
Exactly so.
And what do you know about the Piper?
I was curious about that too, Susan. So I went onto the school's collection website where I find loads of stories about Place. And luckily someone had written in about this very small road. And I learned that there used to be a piper here named Colgan back when the fly boats would be coming, the really fast light boats, once they realized it took 12 hours to get here from Dublin, as we discussed in Maynooth. And
what did the piper do when he was here on the Bohereen?
Yeah, the piper would play music. He would play his pipes for people waiting at the old harbour area here, which still has some signs of use, and people would dance while they waited for their boats.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, pure entertainment from Colgan the Piper.
Well, I think in honour of the piper, we should probably play a little tune in his memory. What do you think?
That's such a great idea. I would love a little tune by the canal.
Great, let's go.
All that I have is the water. The water is always my home. It takes me away to another place, a place full of stories and song. The water sustains me without even trying. The water has found me, I'm home by the water. Oh, what a lovely time exploring the place names in Maynooth all the way to Mullingar and learning the stories about them, about the Piper and about Jackson Bridge, thinking and wondering about them.
Absolutely, and we would love if you could share all of the different stories that you've discovered about the place names along your part of the canal with us on our Padlet in the description box below.
And we'll be creating these new memories together, thinking about old memories other people have had about the canal and mushing them all up in this gallery that we can all share. Is there another way that people can contribute?
So we used a website called logaim, which is a special website where you can figure out the translations of the different place names from Irish into English along the canal and around Ireland as well.
And you can try making a 3D map with found natural materials in your area of your travels and lots of other ways to explore and create this memory bank together.
Exactly, and keep writing down your place names in your notebook as well. Great, so we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Slán.